All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we are going to make our 2D drawing 3D. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to put my door swing on a different tag or layer to keep things clean. So I'm going to add a tag. I'm going to name it door swing. I'm going to come over here and select all the parts of my door swing. Make sure I get even the at the bottom. You can hit Control to add. And we're going to move it from untagged to door swing. And then I'm going to turn it off. Okay. So that's just going to keep it clean later on. Now I want to move to an isometric view to start to bring my walls up. I'm going to use the push pull. I'm going to hover over a wall. I'm going to start to pull it up. We're going to make it 9 feet. All right. Now I have a 9-foot wall. You can do the same thing here, bring it up to 9 feet. You can also, once you've done a measurement, I can come over here, hover to where it's highlighted and double click, and it's automatically going to bring it up to that same height that I just used. So now I have walls. There's a few more things we need to do to make it clean. We've got to finish up our walls jointed above where the door is and the windows. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my guide tool. Typical residential doors are 6 foot 8 inches high. So I'm going to put a guide mark there. I'm going to use my pencil, go over the guide point. Make sure you're on that red axis all the way to on edge. And then come up to the end point. Again, red axis to the other endpoint to fill it in. If you're not on the red axis, what might happen is you might be drawing from the front to the back, and that's going to create issues. Okay, so if you run into a problem, just check that. Now I'm going to orbit it around so I can see the inside of it. And I'm going to go back to my push-pull tool. I'm going to highlight this face. You can either, again, type in the 4.5 inches, or I can hover over this endpoint and it'll line it up. Okay, so that makes it much easier as I'm going along. All right, and so there I have my door opening. It's ready for a door. Let's do the same thing to the windows. I typically do windows from the outside because it's just easier to see what you're working with. Another thing, when I brought my wall up, it brought this middle line from the window that I created, which I don't need. So I'm just going to highlight it and delete it. Okay. And you'll see where we do this also. We're going to come back and clean up some other lines so it makes it all one surface and nice and clean. If you accidentally delete the wrong thing, just go back, go to your edit, undo, and you're good to go. Okay. All right. So we're going to make these. Nope. I need my tick mark. We're going to make these 24 inches off the ground. And then we're going to make them 4 foot high. I'm making sure that my line is blue. So I'm on my vertical axis, 48 inches. Go ahead and do it on this side as well. 24 inches, 48 inches. Okay. I'm going to jump back over to my pencil line. The guide points are easier in 3D to find for some reason. You can see I'm not having to struggle as much to find it. It's going to fill that section in. That's perfectly fine. And then come across the top, endpoint to endpoint for all of that. So since SketchUp is a 3D software, it's always trying to make shapes that it can turn into 3D. So that's why it's filling things in as it goes along. So don't get frustrated. Just delete it where you don't need it. You're good to go. All right, we're going to do the same thing over here. Find my guide point, red axis to on edge, guide point, red axis to on edge, and then endpoint to endpoint. You see on this one, it filled in and gave me a ceiling. I'm just going to delete that, delete this window opening. I'm going to turn to the inside so I can give thickness to my walls with the push-pull tool. Again, make sure you've got the correct surface highlighted. Just come and hover over that endpoint, or where it says on edge. Either one of those will work if you're not at a corner. So this one has a corner. Make sure it says that. Turn so I can see this one and bring it, and it's going to say on edge. Okay. So now I have it all there, but I also have these lines. So same thing, I'm going to go through and I'm simply going to delete these lines as it goes through. You're going to have them on the outside. You will have some along the top, and and you will also have them on the inside. So you want to go through and delete all of those. So once you do that, you'll have a clean surface, and we're going to start working on actually doing the window frames and the door itself.